Someone created the universe. The universe self-created it.
No idea. Again,
Is it possible the universe can self-create?
we don't know.
Let's think. Logical thinking earlier, remember? Right? You said logical thinking.
No one can be certain for sure.
Wait,
That's what I'm saying.
wait.
No one can be certain.
Are you certain about that?
No.
Then what's the point of talking then?
Are you certain that someone created the world?
If no one can be certain about anything,
Look, you're not-
why do you even
question.
talk?
You're not answering my question. Are you certain that someone created the world?
Yes,
How do you know?
because the one who created told us.
Sorry?
The one who created this world has told us, informed us.
In a book that someone written.
So if it was in a cassette, it would be better, right?
No, it's the same thing, same scenario.
So what's the problem?
Why would someone almighty, the creator of everything, write a book for you to follow?
If the creator gave me guidance in audio message or a written message, do I need to have a preference? I don't understand your point.
No. I mean,
Why is this objection?
there are better methods of telling people.
Like what? For example.
I'll print my name on the sky and say, I'm here.
Wouldn't that just prove it solid though?
Sorry?
Would that be any kind of test?
Okay, brother.
Why would he test it?
Suppose now we just hear a voice from the sky.
Yes.
I'm God, I created you. Would you believe?
I'll be certain. I'll be actually uncertain because it could be anything.
So you're demanding an evidence which will not give you certainty. Is that logical thinking?
It can be.
No, is that logical thinking?
Again, it's completely different.
No, it's not completely different.
It is.
So again, better ways you said. Better ways, instead of revealing a guidance to prophets and messengers, you said what? One in the sky, voice in the sky, which cannot give you certainty.
I'll print my name. I'll print my name on the sky.
If you see your name printed in the sky, you'll be certain.
I'd question it, but I'd be more certain than a
Would
book.
you be certain?
I'd be more certain than...
It's not about more certainty. Would you be certain that that's it? I'm certain now God exists.
You cannot be 100% certain of anything.
Give me something that will give you 100% certainty.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
No such thing. It could be an illusion, it could be anything.
Right. So you're demanding evidence which will never give you 100% certainty.
It's more certain than a book.
It's not about comparative more certainty. Can you be certain is the question. You said I can never be certain. Then why do you even demand in the first place?
What kind of question is that? I mean, it's a question
It's like ordering something you don't want to eat. I mean, I don't understand where you're coming
It's
from.
nothing like that.
You are demanding evidence which will not satisfy you.
It's more satisfying.
No,
to
not
see
more satisfying.
something
I
printed.
want you to something that will satisfy you and convince you. That's it. You say that's it. I don't want anything else.
It could be an illusion, it could be anything. God himself could come down and I could be hallucinating. Mass hallucinations happened previously.
You're giving me something that would not satisfy you. What I want from you is
Something
what
that
will
would-
satisfy you.
Nothing.
Nothing. So basically, is it worth even demanding from anyone evidence about God? Because nothing will satisfy you.
No. That would feed onto something. That would probably make me believe a bit more. But
What about belief? What will give you absolute certainty? Nothing.
there's nothing.
Right. So what's the point of even getting this, some less certain things in your life?
What kind of question is that? I mean,
Well, it's a simple question.
it's not a simple question. It's an open question.
The Quran
Yes.
tells us about the natural phenomena.
Okay.
Okay? It tells us the mountains were created with deep elevation in the ground, roots.
That was common knowledge.
Common knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, who knew that?
I don't know. Second century. There were scientists.
Yeah, who knew it? I would like to know the names and when they lived and which kind of writing can we refer to find this information.
Obviously, I can't give you a name. Sorry?
You want internet?
No, I'm fine. But obviously, I can't give you a name.
Have you read it yourself?
Red Dot.
That yes, people knew this. Are you just making this up?
Before Christianity, there was scientists, philosophers that knew everything. Not everything, but they knew a lot about all of this kind of all these.
I asked you a very specific question. So either you have looked into it already,
Yes.
or you haven't. Have you looked into it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have read somewhere or heard somewhere that yes, people in the past, before the Quran came into existence,
The Greeks.
the Greeks knew the mountain had roots. So we should be able to find in their writings, right? Which writings can you refer me to, please?
That's a tough question. I can't give you an answer.
But you can take my email and you can send the information
there
to
was
me.
knowledge previously about.
I asked you about a specific question about mountain having roots.
I'm not sure.
No, you said they knew. And now you're saying I'm not sure.
Stuff like that was common knowledge.
You claim it was common knowledge. You should be able to substantiate your claim with evidence.
I can't give you evidence of that right now.
I'm not asking you to give me evidence now.
The Greeks, Romans.
There you go. Google. Find a
But not everything is in Google, okay? Don't be like a Gary Googler. Okay, the Quran talks about the common origin of the universe, that it was just one piece joined together, and God parted it asunder, and everything,
That was known.
and everything is made. Every living thing is from water.
Oh, yeah, that was known previously.
Who knew it?
That's not.
Who knew it?
Galileo, for instance.
Galileo came before the Quran or after the Quran?
Before.
Galileo came before the Quran.
No, 6th century. There were scientists from the Greeks.
Who among the
I
Greeks?
can't name.
Okay, have you read it yourself?
But the
On this particular one, I've read a lot of Greeks. You know, pre-Socrates, post-Socrates.
Okay.
I can give you some of the names, right? Anaximander, Thales, Aristotle, and later on the scientists Galen, Hippocrates, and so on. Who among them or the others, the sophists, knew this? Because you made a claim again.
I can't give you a name.
But you'll be able to, right? If I give you my email.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end I will give you my email, and I expect that you provide some evidence for it.
Okay, I will.
Yeah? Okay.
Common knowledge.
No, when you say common knowledge, this is a blanket generalization to discredit everything that we bring from the Quran. Common knowledge. On this particular issue, you know what about the issues of life? The Greeks believed in elements, like, you know, the ether, fire, water, earth,
Yep.
4 or 5 elements, right? And life came from what?
Water.
Mixture of these.
Okay.
Right. There was one person called Thales. Everything came from water, not just life only. Okay. So that was the closest one, but again, he was not specific like the Quran. I haven't found any other Greeks. So unless you can tell me that yes, there you go, this is Greek author who's exactly told this information before the Quran did. It'll be interesting.
Honestly, I'll provide it.
Please do.
Just like the embryo.
What about the embryo?
That was in the 6th century.
What did they know about the embryo?
The bone and the flesh. on top.
Okay. Did they know that the embryo resembled the shape of a leech?
No.
But the Quranic description actually alludes to this point with the word alaqa, which likes like a leech. In fact, it doesn't even look like a leech. It functions like a leech. The embryo from about day 17 to 21 days.
Okay.
Very precise, if I know my dates correctly. Okay. It looks like a leech with all these somites. Okay. Because this is what, when you open up a leech, this is exactly how it looks like. It functions like a leech by when it sucks the blood. The Quran says that how within the sperm is turned into, created into this alaqa and transforms. But that's not what some of the Greeks believed. They believe you need menstrual blood.
Again, I can provide you the scientist. That was
Which
in the
scientist?
I can't remember the name. I can provide it.
I very much doubt so, because
It was common knowledge.
listen. When you say common knowledge, you just keep on saying common knowledge.
between the scientists back then. Obviously, the majority did not know, but the Greeks did know all about it.
They used to believe that milk participated to embryology.
Did they know that the sperm is self-motile?
I can't answer that.
That's what the Quran says.
Can't answer that.
Ma'un dafiq, something that is, by itself, proceeding by itself.
And it says that the sperm is created from the ribs, isn't it?
Does it? Where does it say that? You were a Muslim, right? You should know.
No, it used to. Can't remember the verse exactly.
I'll tell you where it is. Now you tell me now, where does it say that? In Surah Al-Tariq, yeah? I'll give you the English if you have forgotten your Arabic already. Let's deal with this. Okay. So now let man think from what he is created. He is created from a drop emitted, proceeding from the backbones and the ribs.
Backbones and the ribs.
And surely he is able to bring him back to life. The day that all things secret will be tested, he will have no power and no helper.
What's the backbones and the ribs?
Let's understand that before we go into the backbones and ribs. The Quran talks about let man. Now let man. فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Let man think from what he's created. خُلِقَ مِن مَاءٍ دَافِقٍ. He's created from a water or ma or a fluid that is self-emitting.
Yeah.
Okay? Gushing forth by itself. يَخْرُجُ مِن بَيْنِ الصُّلْبِ وَالتَّرَائِبِ. Proceeding from the sulb, which is the backbone or the loins, and the ribs.
So
What proceeds?
So what's
What proceeds?
Proceeding from the backbone.
Who's
and the
proceeding?
ribs.
Who's proceeding in this
Well,
verse?
sperm.
How do you think this is sperm?
That's what it's saying. Drop emitted.
Where does it say sperm?
Drop emitted, proceeding from the backbone
Right.
and the ribs.
So you have a noun there, man, and you have a verb there, yakhruju.
Yeah.
So you have a noun and a pronoun. And then you have a pronoun and a pronoun and a pronoun.
Yep.
Okay. So which noun is this pronoun referring to? In normal language, in everyday usage, we would say the pronoun refers to the noun that is immediate,
Yes.
mentioned, right? Is it possible this pronoun or this verb, which has the
Simple question. What's
listen,
backbone and ribs got to do with
listen,
sperm?
listen. You've misunderstood this already.
What's backbones to do with it? And ribs?
Who says it's to do with the sperm? Excuse me, sorry. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's already been recorded. Right.
Yes.
Who do you think this refers to? Do you think this is referring to the man or to the sperm? You're assuming it's referring to the sperm, right?
Yes. Emitted.
No. There are two statements. Let man think from what he's created from a fluid that is self-emitting,
Yes.
and proceeding from. Now this proceeding, who does it refer to? Most people think it refers to the fluid.
Okay.
Is it possible it refers to the man earlier on?
The man.
Yeah.
Emitting from the ribs and backbones.
No, not emitting. Proceeding.
Proceeding what exactly?
Man.
Comes out, draws forth. Yakhruju. Comes out, draws forth.
To be honest, I find it difficult to understand what
Listen,
backbones and
listen.
ribs got to do with anything.
Wait. A woman is pregnant with a child.
Yep.
Is the child in between the backbone and the ribs during delivery?
No. It's in the womb. What's ribs got to do with anything?
Okay. Pinpoint to me in between the backbone and the ribs. Exactly. Pinpoint exactly. Imagine you're a woman. Now pinpoint to me exact position between the backbone and the ribs.
The backbone and the ribs.
Yeah.
Chest area, I'm guessing.
The backbone extends to how much? To your coccyx.
Of course, but
Right. So why here? Why you're pointing there when the coccyx is still there?
Because the ribs stop here.
No, in between. Okay. So let me tell you about.
question's that?
Brother, 1 second. Do you understand what in between means?
In between.
Okay.
Of course.
In between the sun and the earth.
Yes.
Pinpoint exactly where. Is it planet Venus, Saturn, Mars?
The sun.
Is it the
all
moon?
the way.
Could it be all of them? In between the sun and the earth, we have the moon, we have the Mars, Venus, Saturn, and so on. So can you pinpoint exactly what's in between means?
50%.
50%? Wrong. Is the moon in between the sun and the moon 50%? Is the Saturn 50%?
No.
Is the Venus 50%?
Saturn's, yeah.
So why do you assume when something is in between two things, it's in the middle? Why do you generate your own mistakes and then force them onto the Quranic text?
That's.
Excuse me.
Ribs.
In between two things, it's not in the middle, is it?
Ribs.
Okay.
All I'm saying.
Okay.
What's ribs got to do with anything?
In between you
Why not the moon?
and that person over there, who am I referring to?
Could be anyone.
Could be anyone. So why do you say 50% in the middle?
But why mention ribs?
Wait. Why mention ribs? It's not the question here. Your question is, you think the sperm comes from there, right? What I'm saying is that it doesn't say that.
My interpretation.
Okay, fine. It continues like this. I didn't say fine, I'm going to now make you understand this. It then tells you, look, surely Allah is able to bring him back to life. The pronoun is only here, raj'ihi, right? Innahu ala raj'ihi laqadir. This is a pronoun of ha damir, which is a pronoun. It doesn't say man there. So Allah is able to bring back who?
Who's he referring to?
According to you, it should be referring to sperm, right? Because that's the closest noun that it mentioned.
I'm not sure who he's referring to.
But why do they say it's referring to man, him? Why didn't say it?
I don't no idea. I didn't write.
Then you need to understand why this became him. A pronoun that is used much later is now going back to the noun that is earlier mentioned. Let's understand this. Let think from where he's created from, right? So man is the noun, okay? We need to know where he's created from.
Yep.
Created from a fluid that is self-emitting and proceeds from. Okay. You think proceeds referring to the fluid, which is another noun. But the next verse goes on and saying, Allah is able to bring him back. So it should refer to the sperm. But the people are translating it referring to the man, which is the earlier pronoun, the first noun, man. And it goes on. Just to show you again. يَوْمَ تُبْلَى السَّرَائِرُ. That day, all things secret will be tasted. فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ قُوَّةٍ وَلَا نَاصِرٍ. He will have no power and no helper. فَمَا لَهُ. Lahu again a pronoun. Is that referring to the sperm or referring to the man?
Referring to someone, of course.
It's referring to the same man here. So why do you have a problem that يَخْرُجُ refers to the man? Everything else refers to man.
Yep.
Everything else refers to man. And suddenly you have a noun just immediate to يَخْرُجُ. You think it's referring to the sperm. Right?
Again, ribs and backbones. I mean,
Excuse me? During delivery, does the child come from this area? This area?
Ribs.
No, between. What's in between the ribs and the backbone? It's the whole abdomen, my friend.
He could have easily said the womb.
It's not about easily said the womb.
And not
Remember, you brought this up thinking. Wait a second. You brought this up. You brought this up thinking there was a mistake in there.
Yeah.
Now you're saying it could have been said better. It's coming from the uterus. It's coming.
Said from the head to the ankle.
Wait. Is there a scientific mistake? Is the question.
Could have been anything. I mean,
Wait a second.
I should say the baby is emitted from the head.
Excuse me. It doesn't say baby is coming from the head, does it? It describes exactly where the baby is during delivery.
Could be anywhere in the body.
Is the baby in the head when it's being delivered?
In between the head and the ankle.
No, it doesn't say it in the ankle. It says clearly, it's clearly between that area.
I mean,
excuse me.
I can't refute.
You know what? You may be very young, right? You don't know where the baby comes from.
What?
What can I say? The baby is in mommy's tummy. And this tummy area is in between the ribs and the backbone, isn't it?
Between ribs and backbone.
Man. Oh, now you think it's a sperm as well. What am I been explaining all that long?
Could you reread that?
Okay, I've just explained to you.
I'll come in late, so I would like to hear that again. That sounds confusing.
I am saying the pronoun that proceeds from refers to the man rather than the fluid.
What chapter is that? Just for me. I like my personal use.
86.
86.
Yeah.
Verse.
So you come 86. It's only a few verses, 17 verses all total. So now you realize you thought the Quran makes a scientific mistake when the Quran doesn't make a scientific mistake.
No, I didn't say that. They just backbones and ribs and sperm and babies and.
Excuse me. If the baby comes from that area, do you have a problem?
Why can it not be womb instead of backbone?
Oh,
ribs?
so
that's the question.
Okay. So if the God describes to you in a scientific language saying it's actually coming from this scientific terminology, would you understand?
What?
Would you understand?
What do you mean? Repeat. What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do I mean? Do you demand scientific terminology in the Quran?
No, the womb is a lot more descriptive than the backbone and ribs. It's a lot more descriptive.
So basically, no more scientific mistake, but now it comes to a better language claim. Previously, you were claiming that there is a scientific mistake. He explained it to you. Now you understand there is no scientific mistake. Now, basically, your argument is that it could have been put better in a better language.
Yes.
Is that what you were saying?
No. I will explain why it couldn't be put in a better language. Okay? So he's talking about the geometry of the human body. So the question is, where is the sperm coming from? It comes from the testes. If you want to look at the testes in a 3D geometrical form.
I explained that as a man rather than a testes, a sperm. So the interpretation was a man.
But the point is of the origin. The location of the origin is what is being questioned. Geometrically, he's saying that the scientific language does not refer to geometry correctly. It refers to geometry very correctly. You talk about three-dimensional cylinder. The front of the cylinder, the back of the cylinder. Where does the sperm originate? Front or back? Back. All right? Back. So there you are. Do we need to say more about that?
That's a strange analogy.
Is it? No, it's not an analogy. That was not an analogy. That is simply a statement about the geometry.
Are you saying that the baby itself is emerging between the backbone and the ribs?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Or the fluid?
I'm saying it's not the fluid.
I'm trying to understand, because the Quran here says, so let man observe from what he was created.
Yeah.
He was created from a fluid ejected, emerging from between the backbone and the ribs.
Yeah.
So you're saying that It's the actual
The
baby
verb
that's-
yakhruju refers to which noun?